Forever. Dog.
Oh, yes. If you've watched the last two, I think it's been the last two episodes of Movies Baby, and I hope that you're watching on YouTube and Patreon. That's Movies Baby with 5 Ys. I've been dressing as Bernie Lomax, who is of course, the titular corpse from Weekend at Bernie's. It's a look that I was really settling into. It felt nice. It felt natural. It was getting to the point where I could just walk into a McDonald's dressed as Bernie Lomax, and it felt like the most natural thing in the world. But then, just as quickly as my Bernie Lomax look came, that's how quickly it went. Because last week, all of my Bernie Lomax attire started sort of seamlessly transforming into the attire of another coastal rogue from a movie that I love, Sonny Crockett, as played by Colin Farrell in the 2006 movie version of Miami Vice, which is why I look like this. I am channeling Sonny Collins' Sonny from the 2006 movie directed by Michael Mann. And the reason is because I've got Miami Vice on the brain. It's the movie, the whole franchise is something I've been thinking about a lot over the last week. And the reasons for this are twofold. Number one, as you might have heard, Joseph Kosinski, the director of Top Gun Maverick and F1, among other movies, is directing a Miami Vice reboot. Right now, he's putting it together over at Universal, right across the street at Universal. And apparently it's written by Dan Gilroy. Ooh, Dan Gilroy, who wrote and directed Nightcrawler and Andor, but we don't really talk about television on this show. And apparently Michael B. Jordan and Austin Butler, two hotter names you cannot find, have been cast as Tubbs and Crockett, although stay tuned on that because a couple weeks ago they were saying Glenn Powell was going to be Sonny Crockett. But let's assume for a second that this holds. Miami Vice reboot, directed by Joseph Kosinski, starring Michael B. Jordan and Austin Butler. I think this is bad news. Bad news. And the reason why, it doesn't have anything to do with Austin Butler or Michael B. Jordan. It definitely doesn't have anything to do with Dan Gilroy. It's got everything to do with Joseph Kosinski sitting in that old director's chair jail. That's what I have a problem with. Because up until this point, the Miami Vice franchise has always existed under the control of one of my favorite directors, Michael Mann. Both the TV version and the 2006 movie version that he directed. And because of that, Miami Vice has always been a different flavor of the action movie, cop procedural, worshipping at the altar of machismo. It's always been a different flavor of that genre because it's benefited from and been defined by Mann's very unique atmospheric approach to machismo tropes. Mann is one of my all-time favorite vibes directors. He was vibes before there was a word for vibes. Before everyone was talking about vibes, Mann was vibing on his own frequency. And when he's vibing hard, that's when we get movies like Thief, Heat, Manhunter, The Insider, all masterpieces. And it's that very Michael Mann aesthetic that makes the 2006 Miami Vice such a weird little underrated gonzo gem of 21st century action movies. Joseph Kosinski, on the other hand, a director that I like. I'm fine with Joseph Kosinski. I'll always go see a Joseph Kosinski movie, and not just because I have to. But Joseph Kosinski takes a far more conventional approach to those very same macho movie tropes, those action movie tropes. I think he's a solid, I mean, beyond solid. He's a excellent craftsman when it comes to action movies, F1 style sports movies. He's a solid craftsman, an excellent craftsman. But Michael Mann is a freaking visionary. He's a seer. He's a wizard, a prophet. So what I'm worried about is that Miami Vice has fallen into the hands of a normie, and it's going to get a normie makeover. It's going to get that normie version of 80s Miami, 80s retro, instead of the visionary version of it that we get from Michael Mann. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, the movie hasn't been made yet, so who knows? Maybe Kosinski gets his freak on, although I doubt it. I doubt it. And actually, this is what's really pissing me off. As an extra special fuck you to Michael Mann, apparently Miami Vice, the Kosinski Miami Vice, is going to shoot in late 2026. And Kosinski takes a long time to shoot his movies, famously. So he's going to shoot this in late 2026. That is exactly when Michael Mann's Heat sequel, Heat 2, the most highly anticipated movie as far as I'm concerned, out there in pre-production, that's when Heat 2 was supposed to shoot, and it was also supposed to feature Austin Butler. And guess who's going to win that little battle? The genius Michael Mann, who has given Hollywood nothing but cinematic masterpieces since the early 80s? Or Joseph Kosinski, the guy who saved the box office supposedly with Top Gun Maverick? A lot of that was Tom Cruise. Most of that was Tom Cruise. Saved the box office with Top Gun Maverick and then just made a shit ton of money with F1. I think currently the definitely top 10 movies of the year box office wise is at number like 5 or 6. It's huge, that movie. Huge worldwide audience. You know Kosinski's going to win that battle. And so where does that leave Heat 2? You're fucking my guy over not once but twice. You're about to bastardize Miami Vice, and then you're going to make it really hard on him shooting Heat 2. How dare you, Joseph Kosinski? And so, to console myself, I watched the 2006 Miami Vice this week, not once, but twice. And that is around the time when I started to transform like a South Beach werewolf into Sonny Crockett. Mojitos and go-fast boats. Life is just go-fast boats and mojitos, over and over, until you die. If your go-fast boat doesn't have a cup holder big enough for my mojito, I've had a fucking mojito here the whole time. I've had a prop here the entire time, and I haven't even been using it. I made a full mojito with mint for this bit, and it's just been sitting here, and I totally forgot I had it. If your go-fast boat doesn't have a cup holder big enough for my mojito, then, pal, we got a problem. That's delicious. No wonder it's his favorite drink. Now, as much as I love the 2006 Miami Vice, and I do love it, I love it a lot. I saw it not in theaters, but like rental first week available for rental. Got it on DVD, and I started telling everyone immediately after I saw it, you have got to see this freaking movie. Colin Farrell gets on a go-fast boat to go to Havana to have a mojito with this drug lord that he's starting to have an affair with. That scene when Colin Farrell goes to Havana on the go-fast boat, one of my all-time favorite movie scenes. If you haven't seen it, treat yourself. Treat yourself this week with 2006's Miami Vice. Now, as much as I love this movie, though, I do want to say, and this is a little teaser of things to come on Movies Baby, Miami Vice will not be making my list of the top 50 movies of the 21st century. Because right now, the Philly Movie Freak and me, the Georgia Movie Dog, we are both making our lists of the top 50 movies of the 21st century, which we are a quarter of the way through, as you know. And then at the end of the year, the last episode this year of Movies Baby, we are going to synthesize our lists into the Movies Baby official top 25 movies of the 21st century. It's going to be a bloodbath as always. Negotiations will occur. Compromises will be made, and Joe and I will agree on one list of the top 25 movies of this century so far. Miami Vice would probably almost certainly make my top 100, but top 50 is a bar just a little bit too high for Miami Vice, I'm afraid. Because I love that Mann wanted to revisit this TV show he worked on before all of his like major cinematic successes. I love that he wanted to revisit Miami Vice in the style of Heat and Thief, in that atmospheric Mann style. And he is vibing. He's vibing in this movie. He's vibing pretty hard. But it just never transcends the vibe, goes to another dimension in the way that Heat does, in the way that Manhunter does, in the way that Thief, of course, does. Miami Vice is vibing, but it comes back down to earth a bit compared to Mann's other masterpieces. And I love it. I love it a lot. I'm dressed like a fucking Sonny Crockett from the movie. But it's not going to make my top 50. And one thing about Miami Vice is, and I was talking about this last week on the show, I do think we've done a little bit of an overcorrect on Miami Vice. Because it's a movie that didn't really hit at first, and then it got rediscovered, and now it's sort of like a cult classic, which is a weird thing to say about a movie as expensive as Miami Vice. But it has that status, and then what usually happens when that happens is this overcorrection, where we start to hyperbolize about how good the movie actually is, because there's this sense of rediscovering it, of unearthing it, of it being so much better than its original assessment, that you take that a little too far and you overcorrect. I was saying last week that I think this has happened, and don't yell at me. I love this movie, but I think we've overcorrected a bit on After Hours, on Scorsese's After Hours. An amazing movie, a masterpiece, but, you know, Scorsese's third, maybe fourth best movie of the 80s. Raging Bull, King of Comedy, Last Temptation of Christ? I don't know. It's I would say third, maybe fourth of Scorsese's 80s movies. And so I think I've seen it like listed as his like best movie of the 80s. I mean, come on. He made Raging Bull in 1980. There's no way. Michael Clayton, another movie I love. I freaking love Michael Clayton. I saw it in theaters. I loved it from the beginning. I think we've overcorrected a bit on Michael Clayton. What other movies do you think? Shout them out in the comments. YouTube, Patreon. Let me know. What movies do you think have we overcorrected on? Either recently or in the past. Movies that didn't hit at first, then became rediscovered, and then we overcorrected on them to make up for them not being hits immediately. Because there's movies like you could never overcorrect on because they're that good. You know, like John Carpenter's The Thing was reviled when it came out. But then when it became popular, I don't think you could overcorrect because The Thing is just that good. It's just that good. If anything, we just finally rose to the level it was operating at. When Sight and Sound named John Chantal Ackerman's John Dielman as the best movie of all time, Paul Schrader was arguing that we were doing an overcorrect. But again, it's the kind of overcorrect. At that point, it's like, what are we even talking? Because it is so good. John Dielman is so good. Okay, maybe it's the 10th best movie of all time. Like, that's not a massive overcorrection. It's within the ballpark of the best movie of all time. And it's not an insane pick to say that. So that one I don't really agree with. But you tell me, what movies do you think have we overcorrected on? I think this is a fun little list to start forming. And while you're thinking of that, what do you say we officially start the show, which we haven't done yet somehow? Cheers, baby. Mojitos. Go fast boats. It's movies, baby. Roll that theme song.
The backbone of this country is the independent film critic. The power of movies must be protected. The best thing about movies is the feeling they give. It's a feeling I want to feel every day. Movies, baby! Movies, baby! Movies, baby! Movies, baby!
Welcome to Movies, Baby. I'm Brett Boehm, a.k.a. the Georgia Movie Dog. Go Dogs, and I'm coming to you live from the San Fernando Valley. The Philly movie freak and I saw the new Springsteen Biopic, Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere. He'll join me in just a bit to review that. I also saw Richard Linklater's Blue Moon and Catherine Bigelow's A House of Dynamite. I cannot wait to talk about those Johns. That's for the Philly movie freak who's not here yet. I've also got a new segment called Gut Reactions that we're going to be premiering this week. But first, you know how we do it. Show me the money. And by the money, I mean the weekend box office returns, baby. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah, Chainsaw Man. Look at that. Look at that. The number one movie of this weekend is the anime Chainsaw Man the movie, distributed by Toho in Japan, and then Sony and Crunchyroll everywhere outside Japan. Chainsaw Man made $17.25 million domestic and another $90.75 million worldwide. I wasn't really getting my stresses right. I should have made I went too hard on 17.25. And then had nowhere to go to express the much higher number of 90.75 million. I have to apologize to the makers of Chainsaw Man for that. I really wish I could have done it differently, but it's too late now. For an opening weekend grand total of $108 million. Holy shit, Chainsaw Man. Now, I didn't see it this weekend, but I can't wait to see this movie. The trailer, if you haven't checked it out yet, the trailer looks so sick. It is so grotesque and so cool looking. Chainsaw Man was based on a manga, which then became a TV series, and it's about a guy whose body parts turn into chainsaws, and he fights demons. I cannot wait to see this movie. I'm sorry, anime fans, if that was not a great description. But that's basically what I was getting from the trailer, and I'm all on board. I cannot wait to see this movie. I'm so excited it made this amount of money. And the success of Chainsaw Man points to a major trend in the 2025 box office that we really haven't talked about yet, which is the massive crossover success of anime this year. Holy shit, is anime on a roll right now. When we were on our little break in September, one of the biggest box office stories that we didn't get to talk about was the Demon Slayer movie, Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, also based on a manga, also from Crunchyroll, which is currently the fifth biggest movie of the year. Okay, so it's not F1. I think F1 is after it, didn't make as much money. Demon Slayer Infinity Castle is the fifth biggest movie of the year right now, sitting at $667 million worldwide. That's bigger than How to Train Your Dragon live action, bigger than F1, bigger than Superman, bigger than Mission Impossible, bigger than Fantastic Four. $667 million. That's a massive haul. And now Chainsaw Man, and these are not watered down anime movies. It's not like they watered it down for the masses. This thing is ultra violent. It's so fucking cool. And it beat out a Colin Hoover rom-com drama, Regretting You, and it beat out this Springsteen biopic, which has Oscar ambitions, Deliver Me From Nowhere. It beat it by a mile. How is anime doing this? I think the answer is twofold. One, it's the same reason that Terrifier 3 made so much money last year. In a media landscape in which everything is becoming niche, everything is divided into niches, the niche audiences that are the best cared for and the most catered to become the new mass audiences, the new audiences that you can depend on, that are loyal, that's just money in the bank every time. But the reason that it's happened for Terrifier 3 and for anime is because the companies who make content for these audiences don't take them for granted. Don't treat them like a bottom line on a ledger, but give them what they want. Give them exactly what they want every time. Companies like Cineverse in the case of Terrifier, and Crunchyroll in the case of both Chainsaw Man and Demon Slayer, which they distributed. These companies have figured out how to market movies effectively to niche audiences across all sorts of platforms and mediums. Terrifier and Chainsaw Man, these are the new safe bets. These are safer bets than almost any studio movie. I mean, look at what Marvel is running up against this year. Even Marvel movies aren't safe bets anymore. Terrifier 3 was a safe bet. Chainsaw Man's a safe bet. because they have loyal audiences whose loyalty has been earned. It's real loyalty. And these movies are produced by companies who have the trust of these audiences. It's that simple. It's that simple. It's amazing what happens when you trust your audiences, when you respect your audience. And the other reason for anime's success this year is its massive international audience. We've really seen this year the importance of playing globally at the box office. It's the reason why Ne Zha 2 is the biggest movie of the year by a mile. It's the reason F1 made more money than Superman. It's the reason Avatar Fire and Ash is going to make $1 billion again, maybe 2, although I don't think so, but maybe $2 billion again. Big international audiences put you at the top of the box office. It ain't just about U.S. domestic anymore. So congrats to the Chainsaw Man team. Your movie looks incredible. I cannot wait to see it. Now, although I didn't see Chainsaw Man last week, I did go to the movie theater a bunch, and I did see another anime. I saw the remastered version of Perfect Blue, one of my favorite anime movies of all time. This movie is so good. It predicted everything about celebrity culture in the internet era, and it did it in 1997. There's literally a scene in the movie where one character explains to another character how to set up the internet on their computer and access a web page. They walk you through it. It's like a tutorial. It's an amazing scene. And yet, even though it's coming in the first dawning of internet culture and extremely online culture, even though this Perfect Blue comes at the very beginning of that, it understands it completely. And it says almost everything there is to say about it in that very first moment. This movie rules. It is haunting and trippy and terrifying and beautiful. Perfect Blue, I love it so much. And the remaster was gorgeous. And I love Perfect Blue so much, I think it calls for a little costume change. Oh, look at that. I've got my Perfect Blue t-shirt on, a Satoshi Kon film. Maybe not so much a wardrobe change as a wardrobe addition, because I still have my Sonny Crockett accoutrements on. I love Perfect Blue. Great movie. I love to watch it with a mojito on a go-fast boat. I also saw some other movies this week, but before we talk about those movies, I want to briefly address some of the trailers and posters that I saw at AMC 16 in Burbank last week in a new segment called Gut Reactions.
Open your mind.
Up first in Gut Reactions is the trailer for a movie, a bizarre movie called Song Sung Blue, starring Hugh Jackman as a Neil Diamond impersonator and Kate Hudson as his singing partner / eventual wife. They get married during the movie, based on what I saw in the trailer. They're a singing duo. They go by the name Lightning and Thunder. They do Neil Diamond songs, and they live a life, baby. Holy shit, what the fuck is this movie? Has anyone seen the Song Sung Blue trailer? I didn't even know about this movie until I saw a trailer for it in theaters, and I try to know about every movie. Song Sung Blue. Oh my God. This is the craziest trailer I've seen all year. It is like every year we get one of these, though, I will say, where it's almost like a parody of an award season movie or an award season trailer. Like the hyperbole is like so strong, it's insane. And you're just sort of you're swept up in it, but you don't know what's happening or why, because it doesn't seem like the movie's going to be able to pay off the promise of the emotional sort of promises of the trailer. Song Sung Blue in this trailer is presenting itself as the most important movie in history. It's presenting itself as a cinematic event, unlike any other cinematic event. And yeah, as far as I can tell, the movie is just about Hugh Grantman. What the fuck am I talking about? Hugh Jackman playing a Neil Diamond impersonator. This mojito, I'll tell you what, that might not be the last little malaprop that gets tossed your way out of this dumb mouth this episode. This movie, the trailer starts out and you're like, okay, Hugh Jackman is a Neil Diamond impersonator. That could be, that seems fun. That seems fun. I'm on board. And then they start ramping up Sweet Caroline on the soundtrack and other Neil Diamond songs, and they start pouring on, thicker than it's maybe ever been poured on, this like Forrest Gump style hyperbole. And it goes so it goes so far you want to throw up. You want to like physically react to it. That's how insane this trailer is. And I did read it's based on a documentary, and the premise seems interesting, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. There's not a lot. You're not giving a lot of specifics, but it does seem like this family's life is the most important life that has ever been lived by a human. Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson and their children. My gut reaction, to quote the segment title, my gut reaction is that Song Sung Blue is going to be this year's Here, directed by Forrest Gump director Robert Zemeckis. You remember that movie last year, Here? It had such Oscar ambitions, such award season ambitions. It's reuniting the Forrest Gump crew, Tom Hanks, Robin Wright, Robert Zemeckis. And then you saw it and you're like, oh, not really at all. Swing and a miss. And also, really weird movie. That's what I think Song Sung Blue is going to be. I think it's going to be this year's Here. And because of that, I cannot wait to see it. Sign me up. Maybe I'll start selling tickets now. I'll line up outside the theater right now for Song Sung Blue. I think it's going to be a mess. Another thing I love about this trailer, which I highly recommend you find and watch at your earliest convenience, is that they make a huge deal in this trailer repeatedly about the fact that this singing duo is called Lightning and Thunder. So much so that you're like, I've got it. This must be the title of the movie, is why they're saying it so much. Over and over. I'm lightning, you're thunder. We're lightning and thunder, ladies and gentlemen. This might be the end of Lightning and Thunder. Over and over and over again. So that when the title flash is about to happen, instinctively in your head, before you even see it, you're just going, Lightning and Thunder. This is Lightning and Thunder. And then up on the screen it says, Song Sung Blue. Which, yes, that is the name of a Neil Diamond song, but the name of this movie is Lightning and Thunder. You have told me that essentially in the trailer. And then so to pull the rug out for me at the end like that feels deceitful. Next up, in gut reactions, the poster. The poster for 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. Now, as you know, if you're a Movies Baby regular, and I hope that you are, 28 Years Later was one of our favorite movies of the year, me and the Freak. It absolutely rocked. Danny Boyle back to his Trainspotting era tricks. Just kinetic energy, start to finish. Loved it, loved it, loved it. And we're already getting another movie in this franchise early next year. It was filmed simultaneously with 28 Years Later. It's called 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. And it's directed by the amazing Nia DaCosta, who also has a Hedda Gabler adaptation coming out later this year with Tessa Thompson as Hedda Gabler. Holy shit, sign me up. So I was already excited for The Bone Temple for all those reasons. And then I saw this poster at the AMC 16 in Burbank. And my jaw, ladies and gentlemen, hit the fucking carpeted floor so hard it made a sound. I almost dropped my freaking hot dog when I saw this poster. Look at this! Look how amazing this poster is! And if you're just listening, I'll describe it to you. We got Ralph Fiennes in his, he's the lunatic doctor with a heart of the post-apocalypse, but he also might be actually crazy and we don't know yet. But he's this wild man doctor of the apocalypse, and he's made these sort of towering temples out of the skeletons of the deceased, in his terms, as a way of remembering them. But it's definitely a scary, sort of terrifying thing to do. And in this poster, he is leaning back with his arms out, his back arched, screaming with the fury of 1,000 hells. And the whole thing looks hellish. There's fire, smoke. And at the bottom, the tagline, fear is the new faith. Fear is the new faith. Come on, people. This is how you make a fucking poster. This is what I'm talking about. This is the way movie posters used to be. Remember? And the covers of movies in Blockbuster, They used to be so freaky. They used to be so, like, scary. They used to unnerve you. I love this. Let's get back to that. Let's get back to freaky, scary movie posters that are trying to scare the shit out of you and keep you up at night. I cannot wait for this movie. My last gut reaction is for the trailer for the upcoming Star Wars movie, I gotta make sure I get this fucking right. Otherwise, these Star Wars people are gonna come for me. I think I spelled this wrong. Grogu. Yeah, it's Grogu. I almost said Grogo. Grogu and the Mandalorian. They got another Star Wars movie coming out. It's based on the Mandalorian TV show. And people, you know me. I'm not the world's biggest Star Wars fan. I'm also not a hater. I like it fine enough. I like it when it's good. I'm just not a fanatic for it. And I'm not a fanatic for the lore and the universe. But I like them when they're good. Why not? And because of that, because those are my credentials, because I'm not a fanatic, you can believe me when I say I think my gut reaction is Grogu and the Mandalorian is going to rock. It's going to rock. I love the vibes. I love the vibes I was getting from the trailer. You got Grogu. Grogu's a winner. He's adorable. The whole thing feels very Spielberg and Lucas early 1980s. It feels just fun and snappy and full of adventure. I love it. I love it. It was pulling at my heartstrings, my cinematic heartstrings. It feels kind of handmade. Like there's a shot at the very end. It's the last shot of the trailer that completely won me over. Completely won me over. Grogu is down in like a sewer or something. You know, half of Star Wars takes place in sewers. Grogu's down in a sewer, and this little monster pops up. And the whole thing looks like freaking Fraggle Rock. I loved it. It all looks like handmade and puppets and 1982 Spielberg and Lucas vibes. This little monster pops up and Grogu like hits him with a slime ball or something. He like pops him with a slime ball or a magic slime or something like that. And the monster goes blah and like recedes back into the darkness. And then this other little sewer creature who is with Grogu, his friend, goes, "Nice shot, baby," and then like waddles off down the sewer. "Nice shot, baby." Well, I'm hooked. I'm putty in your hands. Putty in your hands, Jon Favreau. The chef himself is directing this. Cook me up something special, Chef Favreau. I am on board. I cannot wait. I think Mandalorian and Grogu. Is that the order of the title? Is Mandalorian? Yes, Mandalorian's first, even though Grogu's the star. He's not sweating it. He said, put me second. The people know who's the star of this movie. Mandalorian and Grogu comes out May 22nd, 2026. I cannot wait. All right, on to the movies that we saw this week. Starting with this week's big review. It's Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere. And you know I can't do the big review alone. And so I'm going to summon the Freak! Oh, we are back, baby. And I am not alone. I am joined by the one, the only, the Philly movie freak.
Everyone, I am back, and it's so good to be back at the movies.
Are we going to do this every week? You were back last week.
And I've done stuff in between.
You've done stuff in between.
Let's talk about Springsteen.
Oh, I want to talk about this movie. I cannot wait to talk about Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. We saw it last night in previews, Thursday night, baby. Basically the first screenings available for the general public. And the Dawg and the Freak were there. The movie that we're reviewing this week, of course, is Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, which is a biopic about Bruce Springsteen. Takes place during the making of the album Nebraska, a departure for Springsteen at the time, away from his anthemic, Born to Run early work, and then before the anthemic Born in the USA era, he does a little bedroom album, baby, a little 4-track bedroom lo-fi album, and the label can't believe it, and it's all sorts of stuff is going on about that, and he's getting in touch with his childhood. Bruce Springsteen, of course, is played by Jeremy Allen White from The Bear. We also have Jeremy Strong in here from Succession. The two Jeremys. And Jeremy Strong plays John Landau, his manager and record producer. We also got Paul Walter Hauser as a recording engineer, Mark Maron as a recording engineer. A lot of our favorites cosplaying as recording engineers in this movie. Stephen Graham is here. We also got Gabby Hoffman. We got David Krumholtz. We got the drummer from Yeah Yeah Yeahs, Brian Chase as Max Weinberg. I don't know if you caught. Did you catch that?
No, but he looked just like him.
I am. It is such a. I'm
So
such
the
a,
E Street Band.
yes,
There's
yes.
one shot when you quickly get to see the E Street Band.
Yeah.
Everyone looks just like their counterpart.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh gosh, I don't know if I actually want to see this guy Stevie Van Zandt, but let's take a look. We never see any of them do anything else besides that one shot.
That one shot of just them on stage, just rocking out, just being the E Street.
They rocked.
They rocked. Because that's not what this movie is about. This movie is about Bruce getting in touch with his childhood trauma. Now, this movie was directed by Scott Cooper. And Scott Cooper has directed such movies as Crazy Heart with Jeff Bridges. He did Black Mass with Johnny Depp as Whitey Bulger. He did Out of the Furnace with Christian Bale and Casey Affleck and Woody Harrelson. Bar none, one of the most relentlessly sad movies I've ever seen in my life.
That's a weird one for him.
That's
to
a
have
weird.
Done.
Yes, yeah.
That's not really his. Well, I guess it's like if the Whitey Bulger one is on the it's half biopic.
Yes.
This is the one that's just pure action movie kind of thing.
Well, no, Out of the Furnace is like
it's like a legal drama.
It's like it's in the same genre as like a Task, that HBO show right now, where it's like rural Pennsylvania gangsters, and some of them are sort of evil, but some of them are a little more morally ambiguous. And it's like he makes movies. I think Scott Cooper makes movies he makes like guy movies that are like for like guys who are now like, if you're a guy who like just became sober and got into therapy and you kind of had a rough like time before that, Scott Cooper's your guy. Scott Cooper's like your director. That's
a good distillation
right?
of
like
the vibe.
Yes, it's like sort of masculine but also sort of sensitive and dealing with traumas and stuff like that. That's like Scott Cooper's thing, right?
Honestly, yeah.
And here it is
that's
again.
Exactly what it is.
Springsteen.
And that's exactly what Springsteen is about.
Out of the Furnace is a good watch.
A man
I'll
who is
say.
very cool and very sober, thinking late at night.
That's it. Out of the Furnace is a fun streamer. It's a fun.
You've mentioned it
mentioned
multiple times over the course of this year.
I think
outside of this conversation, you just keep telling me,
you
know what, you should check out.
Check
out
Out of the
You keep
Furnace.
saying that.
Because it's
I
three
still have
guys.
it.
It's three guys like gunning. Because the other thing we should say with Scott Cooper is like, if you're kind of like a manly actor who is gunning for an Oscar, this is your fucking guy.
That's the thing.
This is
That's
your
his
guy.
thing, yeah.
This is your guy. And Out of the Furnace is Christian Bale, Casey Affleck, and Woody Harrelson like gunning for Oscars. It's really wild. It's a wild watch. Acting at each other. And speaking of acting at each other, let's talk about Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. Joe, I want to let's say this to begin with, okay? This is a bad movie. We talked a little bit beforehand. We both agreed this is not a good movie. This is sort of just an obviously bad movie. There's really not a lot. I can't imagine. Yes, go ahead, please. But we had different. I think we had different takes on what kind of a bad movie it is, and we had slightly different experiences. So, Joe, why don't you talk about your experience watching Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere?
Going into it, all you can hope is that it's just not a project for the actor to win the Academy Award. And unfortunately, this wasn't even like one of those. This was kind of like a B one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to call it a TV movie because that's like reductive and unhelpful. But this
TV movies can be fun.
Amazing, right? Yeah. This movie is really straightforward to the nth degree, and it's really disappointing. It just sort of is very surface. It follows its narrative. Its narrative is Bruce Springsteen's one of the biggest stars in the world, but he feels a little lost and sad. So he does something cool. He goes to the woods to write an album alone on a 4-track. And
like Justin Timberlake, he is the man of the woods.
Much like Justin Timberlake, he's man of the woods. And he does that, and he comes back, and he writes all these other good songs that are like more poppy and upbeat, like his big stuff,
like Born in the USA,
and Glory Days, and he can't decide. Like, some of these songs are sad and quiet, and some of these songs are loud and big. Fuck, like, what am I gonna do?
And the label's on his ass for a single,
and then he doubles down. He says, "I like the earthy realism or the echoey phantasma of Nebraska. It should be its own thing, and that's that. It's my artistic statement. And then very quickly, his label agrees. He's the biggest star in the world. It's totally fine. And he also simultaneously wrote "Born in the USA." So it's all gonna work out for them.
It's all gonna be fine.
It's all gonna work out for them.
But it's all gonna be fine for everyone except Faye, the waitress in New Jersey, who he kind of
uses definitely not abuses,
but
uses and dumps.
Yes,
pretty quick.
Yeah.
So
and she was cool. I don't know what's wrong with him. Yeah, she was awesome.
So it's just that, like, and the problem with that being the main narrative of your Bruce Springsteen movie is like that is a really cool story. Like I want to read like a cool, Cream article, Rolling Stone article
good
about
news.
that.
This is based on a book by Warren Zanes called "Deliver Me from Nowhere." I'm actually going to go read the
cool.
book.
I
can't wait
really
to read the book
because guess who I love? Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah.
And guess what I like? His music. And guess what album's really, really, really good? Nebraska. And it's a cool story. He goes to the woods. He writes this. Bruce Springsteen, at the height of his powers, goes to the woods to write a sad personal album about his life and trauma, and it's recorded on a 4-track. That is really cool. But that's not really like enough. Or at least this movie, if that's it, if you're gonna just do the surface story, then that's certainly not enough. If you're gonna like plumb into deeper layers of this man, so be it then. Also, this is just about like a guy that he goes through like a drug arc, except he's stone cold sober. So all he ends up doing, like he doesn't like spiral down because of drugs. He spirals down because like he's, I don't know, bored or lonely or just kind of like sick of being famous or something. And then the whole movie, instead of him dealing with his like drug issue, which I'm glad he didn't have, or he did, but he hit it in the movie. I have no fucking idea. He just like wraps his fingers on the table and thinks for like an hour, thinks of Nebraska. He drives, he sees a mansion on the hill. He writes mansion on the hill.
It's very literal.
He drives, he drives and he has a memory about.
He's driving around and he sees a mailbox and he writes sad mailbox song. It's very
like,
literal.
Oh, remember that time I went to Atlantic City? And then he's like, I'm gonna write a song called Atlantic City. Just like very straightforward. And then at the end, there's Jeremy Strong is like his agent and supposedly his best friend that understands Bruce deeper than anybody's ever understood him. Yeah. Except that it also seems like these two people have never spoken a word to each other. It's like Brett. We've said it a couple times today. They are talking past each other. Yes. They are acting towards each other, but they are certainly not listening and responding.
No, yeah, I was going to say
two guys
to talk about the Jeremys. To talk about the Jeremys real quick, like they are. I was telling Joe, I have never been more aware in a movie. I've never been made more aware that acting is pretending to be someone else than watching Springsteen Deliver Me from Nowhere. At no point did I believe. Did the suspension of disbelief happen where I believed that Jeremy Allen White was Bruce Springsteen? And similarly, I don't have a reference point for John Landau, the manager, but at no point did I not see Jeremy Strong acting. All you see in this movie is Jeremy Strong acting towards an Oscar and Jeremy Allen White acting towards an Oscar. And there's a lot of like just them in a booth at a diner and it's just shot reverse shot. And I'm like, they aren't interacting. They are acting past each other towards the Oscar. They're acting at each other for the Oscar. And it's really it's just it makes for very silly scenes.
The movie insists they get each other more than any other relationship in each other's lives.
I didn't get that.
That doesn't make any sense.
No. Yeah.
And
they seem like they're forced friends.
It seems like one's an agent and one's like
they're
talent.
professional
like
friends.
They fucking hate each other.
Yeah.
Even though the movie insists they're like creative collaborators.
And then there's that shot at the end that's like a little homoerotic where they sort of like hug and their like hands like linger on each other's like knees or body. You remember what I'm talking about? When they're like when he puts on one of Bruce's favorite old songs and they're listening to it. And I was like, this would have been so interesting if you had developed any sort of dynamic between these characters that was like credible or interesting. Like the idea, because like when they have that moment, I'm like, these guys don't feel that way about each other, and maybe they did in real life, but like in this movie you just have the two Jeremys acting their asses off for an Oscar, and it's just very foolish. And so like that there never becomes a level of credibility to it, there never becomes a level of authenticity to it. It is two guys just clearly pretending to be people they're not.
So we saw
awards, which I'm just like, that's all acting, but usually you are allowed, if it's a good performance, then you forget about that. Here, it's all you can think about. And I will say the director does not do Jeremy Allen White any favors, because the first shot of Jeremy Allen White as Bruce Springsteen is in the middle of playing Born to Run for a live audience, and your first thought is, oh no, that's just the guy from The Bear pretending to be Bruce Springsteen. Like there, and he's really trying hard to be Bruce Springsteen, but that only makes it worse because you just never get past it. You only see the guy from The Bear trading in his apron for a flannel shirt.
Every time he sings a track off Nebraska, it's okay. But every time he has to belt, or every time he has to like rock anthem it, there's a lot of scenes of him at the Stone Pony, like playing backing vocals on like Little Richard songs.
Yeah.
Doing like facial tics a la Bruce Springsteen. That's tough. Look, I don't want to make this about how Jeremy Allen White didn't nail it in this movie, but there's some actors that can't sing and they play a musician, and you go, well, at least they really understood their interior life and kind of pulled off what that must have been like. And then there's other performances in this movie.
Look, the Jeremys blew it, okay? Let's just be honest. The Jeremys, they're very talented. They're going to have long careers. They're very talented.
I hope they do.
The Jeremys kind of blew it in this one, okay? They got up to their Jeremy tricks. They really got up to their old Jeremy. Jeremy
Allen
White
White is really acting a lot in this movie, and it's tough. And I think that it's tough. Like, he's striving. He had to make a better actor's decision because he was kind of acting the script, which is Bruce Springsteen's dad was mean to him growing up, so now he's writing Nebraska, which doesn't really hold muster in some sort of nuanced portrait of a man. Of course, his parents and his father would affect him, but the way this movie paints it in the broadest strokes possible just renders the whole thing sort of silly.
There is a scene, really quick, to illustrate what Joe is saying. There is a scene. Any moment where there's an epiphany in the movie is the silliest thing you've ever seen. The epiphany moments, the inspiration moments, where like the artist unlocks the next level of their development it's so crucial for a musical biopic, and they're done so foolishly here. There's one example where he's writing. It might be Mansion on a Hill. He's writing something for Nebraska, and he's writing it in the third person, because he's used to doing sort of storytelling songs, Nebraska, like Hungry Heart or something, which is his big hit that's playing on the radio throughout this movie that he's trying to depart from.
The River just came out.
Yes.
It's the biggest album ever. People love it.
So he's the storyteller guy, right? And so he's writing this song for Nebraska, and he's writing it in the third person, and then he goes, wait a second. Wait just one damn second here. I have an idea. And he goes through and he crosses out the third person pronouns, he, him, and he writes I, me. And he personalizes it. He changes third person pronouns to first person pronouns. And then there's a shot of him going, wait a second. I think I just cracked something.
No, I bet.
And you're like, we're adults. We're adults out here.
That's all.
We're adults.
I bet when Bruce Springsteen told that story in an interview,
it was amazing.
It was like a cool ass story. It was like,
yes.
And then I realized, like, I'm that guy. Like, I'm sure that was awesome when Bruce Springsteen said that. But making it literal in the movie makes your audience. You said earlier, it like caps this movie's ability to like be good when you treat your audience like absolute fools.
That was the moment where I was like, okay. No matter what happens, and that's fairly early in the movie, I said, you just cap this movie at 2 stars. Like, literally, like, you can nail the rest of the second act, nail the third act. That's so foolish.
It's only as strong as its weakest link. So
it's so silly to be that literal.
Bruce Springsteen's writing double album, question mark, on top of a track list. Because, like, he's sitting there and he's going, born in the USA, Mansion on a Hill. And then there's Glory Days. Oh, then there's Atlantic City. They're 2 different double album.
Remember in Inherent Vice? When they'll show a shot of Joaquin Phoenix's notebook, and it's like the funniest, just like hippie ramblings of a guy trying to solve like an impossible mystery, and it's played as comedy because it's really funny. Here they play it for drama. They show shots of Bruce's notebook, and it's like Joaquin Phoenix's notebook in Inherent Vice. It's like, look deeper inside myself, ? And stuff like that. And it's laughable. This movie will often feel like a movie from 30 Rock. It feels like a parody of a music biopic. And if I can, that's why I actually had a lot of fun at Springsteen Delivering Me from Nowhere.
Go off.
But if I can, okay. Because Joe and I are probably going to give this somewhere a similar rating. I think we both agree that it was really bad. I had a lot of fun because it is like so bad it's kind of funny, and my audience was locking into that. My audience was like laughing at parts that were not supposed to be funny. It was that kind of an audience, and I don't always like that, but this is a self-serious biopic by self-serious artists who aren't really nailing it, and it's okay to make fun of that. It's okay. They took themselves way too seriously here. It's pretentious. It's also kind of disrespectful to its audience in a lot of ways, and I think it's fine to make fun fun of that and have some fun with that. And this movie has a lot to sort of make fun of. A couple examples of that. If we can talk about how obsessed this movie is with the logistics and dynamics of recording engineering. This is one of my favorite parts of the movie.
It's for gearheads.
This movie was apparently written by like a hardcore gearhead who knows everything about 4-track recording and nothing about character development. Because there is so much. There's a full conversation where Bruce discovers what 4-track recording is and is like, and they go through the dynamics of it. Paul Walter Hauser goes and sets up like a whole home recording system for him so he can do like lo-fi bedroom recordings. This movie is like an ode to lo-fi bedroom recordings, and that is like
literally
that's like the most that's the most fun part of the movie.
That wouldn't that be interesting if that's what it was?
If that
you know what I mean?
If that's what it actually was.
That's what it actually wanted to be.
Was,
that'd be
yes.
sick. I mean, it does. Like, it wants to be a movie about Nebraska, and it wants to be a movie about gear, because the only interesting thing about this, like, it's just a cool story. It's not a movie. It's just a cool story, I think, that Bruce, or it's not enough to just be the story, that Bruce Springsteen felt disenchanted with entertainment industry. He wrote a really personal album on a 4-track, and they decided to release it that way. And that is very cool story, but it's just not enough for like every twist and turn being like really, really exciting. And the gear makes sense to me in the movie, though, because like that could be the only thing this movie is about, because the whole plot of this movie is if you capture that sound on a 4-track, you can't really replicate it in studio. That is the plot of the movie.
That's like the biggest tension point in the movie, is like trying to capture Bruce's bedroom recording sound in a professional studio.
So that sounds cool. Like if this was like the indie movie that like that focused on this obsessively and was about like clocks or art or sex or any of those things. But this isn't. It's just like that movie with like the broad brush of Bohemian Rhapsody. It's like, if you're going to do the jukebox musical, please just do the jukebox musical. Yes. Let's do Thunder Road. Let's do fucking 10th Avenue Freeze Out. Let's do the rise and the fall, the drugs and the win. Let's do the whole Dewey Cox arc. Yeah. Don't give me like Lincoln, when Spielberg did Lincoln, there's enough with the ratification of the 13th Amendment to just focus on that for 2 hours. I just don't know if there's enough to focus on Bruce Springsteen soberly thinking about Alaska, a really good album.
Nebraska, yeah.
That's crazy.
And a good counter example here is the great documentary Company by D.A. Pennebaker, all about like the doing the cast recording of the Sondheim Musical Company. That movie is also about the logistics of recording and trying to capture a specific sound in a studio, and it is fascinating and compelling because it's actually about that.
Right.
Whereas this, it's like you'll like occasionally have just a scene that's like hardcore into like gear, and like they have to like make the grooves in the vinyl a specific way so that it captures the sound, and like that's a whole point. And look, all of this sounds like really compelling and interesting, but it's just, again, it is like done in the midst of this sort of broad brush, silly,
the
30
conversation
rock
is about
biopic
recording instruments.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Blowout is about the technical aspects of photography.
Yeah.
But you know how it's actually about a bunch of other stuff too?
Yes. And so but just the fact that they were like doing this was it's part of the foolishness of the movie, and I enjoyed that foolishness. Right. It was fun to just be with like Paul Walter Hauser setting up a 4-track in Bruce's in like cabin. It was silly and foolish, and I had some fun with that.
You're like a better, like, these conversations always devolve into you're just like a better man than I.
No,
it's just like it always devolves into like
not at all.
Have
actually
like
not.
You
true,
have like a
think.
good like
if you put both of our souls in the balance, I don't think I would come out.
Nah, you have like a good like look at things. Like, all right, what else did you enjoy?
Well, but part of it was like my audience having fun.
Okay.
I like whatever. I like hotboxed before I came in there. So I was. So I was having a blast. All right. Speaking of who the better person is. All right. Other things I enjoy. Okay. We have to talk about the best character in the movie.
Absolutely.
One of the best characters of the year is Jeremy Strong's wife. Okay, so this movie, not surprisingly, because it's directed by Scott Cooper, has like really bad roles for women, but those roles are like really well acted, and are the two like the two female characters. There are actually three if you had Gabby Hoffman. Like Gabby Hoffman plays
acting well.
Bruce Springsteen's mom.
Yeah, she's acting correctly.
And Stephen Graham is the dad. Incredible casting there, by the way. Incredible casting. You're not so on board with this.
Didn't he just make a whole TV show about being an abusive dad?
No. He was a good dad in adolescence.
Okay.
Well, not
I
good.
didn't
He was
watch it.
sort of he's not abusive though. He's not
I just
abusive.
I just didn't want him like getting in a lane.
No.
Okay.
He is, but I mean, if he has to get in a lane, that's a pretty natural one.
No, I know.
Not that he's really like that.
No,
just
no,
that,
no.
you
He's
know
good
how
at
Stephen
that.
Graham
Yeah,
looks and
yeah,
acts
yeah.
in movies. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
okay, sorry.
but Stephen Graham and Gabby Hoffman are the parents in the black and white flashbacks, and I thought it was really good casting. I thought they were good in little snippets. And then you have, I do want to shout out really quickly before we talk about Jeremy Strong's wife. We're going to circle back here. I also want to shout out Odessa Young, Australian actress I was not aware of, who plays Faye, Bruce Springsteen's sort of like local New Jersey love interest. She's like she's the ultimate
local
Springsteen
muse.
She's
the
a
local
waitress
muse.
in a diner, and she like knows like Little Richard B-sides.
And she like likes
you
Pat
know?
Smith.
Yes, and so she's like Springsteen's muse, but he also like treats her very badly, and then fucks off to Los Angeles at the end of the movie and leaves her with her kid. And then he has that terrible like there's a second date where they're at like Asbury Park, and he's like really playing dad for her kid, and I was like, Bruce, this is a second date. You're being an asshole right now.
Yeah,
You can't go
tossing her
this
up in
hard
the
with the
air.
kid. Yeah, like
Yeah, like
because we
spinning
know
her
you're not
around.
sticking around.
Nah.
Anyway, so. Not great roles for women, but great performances by women in this movie. And the best of the bunch, I don't even know if I could find her name because it's such a small. Oh no, here it is. Grace Gummer. Oh, is this one of Meryl Streep's kids?
Okay. Well,
It's Meryl Streep's daughter. Okay,
Okay,
this makes total sense.
she's
This makes total
amazing.
sense.
Grace Gummer,
Okay.
Mamie's sister,
Okay, yes.
is amazing in this movie because you know the trope that we've all discussed
Yes.
ad nauseum and have put to bed 1,000 times over
Yes.
of the doting wife that
The
when
wife
her-
who listens
the
and
wife who
nods.
listens and nods and says go get him, Tiger.
Yes.
That stays at home and is like you do you, I got your back. That wife.
This is the funniest example of this
The famous
trope.
thing we
This
don't
is the
do.
funniest example of it.
This is that. But it's like done up like it is like a comedy movie trying to make us all groan and laugh. Jeremy Strong goes into his house
This is two scenes where we see Grace Gummer. Two scenes.
and she is just like, imagine a mom in a commercial listening,
Yeah.
but also that imagine that if this woman is intelligent, graceful, thoughtful, and very loving. Okay,
And using a lot of lotion. She's using a
lotion-
lot of
she's
she's lotioning
lotioning
up.
in every scene. We got a leg lotion in one, we got a hand lotion in another. Jeremy Strong comes to her with his problems. And he's
Yes.
like, honey, I don't know.
Bruce is being
I don't know. What
Bruce
we're
is
gonna
being
do.
tough,
Bruce
and then
is
the
really,
the
the
label's
studio's
being
gonna
really
be
hard
mad,
on
and
me.
and she is listening with like the intent of 1,000 people.
Yes.
She is listening so hard
As
and,
she lotions her arms and legs.
she's giving like, it's not like she's like her eyes and face are moving like she's being bad at acting. What we're trying to say is
Yeah.
she has a fully realized character, like as if she has a line almost. Like she listens, she nods.
Yeah.
Jeremy Strong, she was so funny.
And they do this twice, not
yeah.
once. They did it once,
Yeah.
and I was like, that was so funny, and whoever that was amazing. And then they literally do the same scene again, and she's still like lotioning up in bed.
She
and this
listens
is like
so hard.
weeks later. So
Yes,
in two
yeah.
separate scenes, Jeremy Strong just goes home and is just complaining to his wife about his job. But the character
No.
of the wife is so memorable. When she's
No
so
wife's
memorable.
ever-
I
no
asked
one's
Joe, I was like, what was there was one character in the movie that just like stuck out for me, and he was like, was it Jeremy Strong's wife? And I was like, yes. And she's on screen for probably 30 seconds total.
She's
Total.
so funny. She should win an Academy
She
Award.
really should win an Academy Award. She should
Best
win the
Supporting
Beatrice
Actress,
Straight
yeah.
Academy Award, the Judi
Fucking
Dench and Shakespeare in
so
Love Academy
funny.
Award.
See, there's no small parts, only small actors.
That's right.
And Grace Gummer.
Of course it's Meryl Streep's
and
kid.
Grace Gummer and Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere.
Best performance in the movie.
Deliver Me From Nowhere. That's how I felt the entire fucking time.
All right, some
Get
other
me
things-
out of
no,
here.
no, some other things that were
I
fun.
hated this movie.
All right, some other things that were fun. Okay. There's a lot of attention paid to Bruce's influences. And number one, turns out the boss is a major cinephile. All right. Two of the most pivotal moments in Bruce Springsteen's life, according to this movie, are number one, when his dad took him to see Night of the Hunter,
Which is a very funny thing for an abusive father to take his son to see.
hey kid, we're gonna go to the pictures.
It was like the
something
one
called Night of the Hunter,
one-
and he smokes during the movie. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah, and he
it's
just
kind
sits
of
there
amazing.
and they just take it. They just take the whole night of the
Stephen Graham takes little Bruce Springsteen to see Night of the Hunter
After
and
abusing
smokes
him,
through
it
the
was
whole
so
thing
funny.
and
It was
just
great.
is blowing the smoke in his son's face while he shows him Robert Mitchum in Night of the Hunter. The second most pivotal moment in Bruce Springsteen's life was when he saw the movie Badlands on TV while he's trying to write Nebraska. And something about Terrence Malick's Badlands. Look, we've all been there. It's a great movie. It's a great movie.
That character inspires one of the songs in
in
Nebraska.
There we go. My question, though, is because they keep cutting back to Bruce seemingly over the course of like weeks. And Badlands is always on TV, but we never see Bruce Springsteen go out and rent a whatever it would have been, a copy of. I mean, they didn't have. Did they have VHS
when they were writing 1982? No,
1982. We should know this.
No.
1982
No.
VHS. First VHS came out 76. Okay. So there could have been a VHS. Yes, there could have been a VHS of. All right, but the question was, is there a TV station that was showing Badlands like constantly, or did Bruce have his own copy of Badlands?
Or did Bruce have his own station?
Or did Bruce
like he was so powerful at this point where he could just like make me channel 6 and put on Badlands the entire time until
I'm trying to write Nebraska and I'm taking it all from this movie. All right, you were a better Bruce than I was there. So Badlands is the big thing. The third thing that really inspires him is not a movie, but is the self-titled Suicide album. Yeah. Bruce Springsteen, and this is maybe my favorite part of the movie, is Bruce Springsteen gets the Suicide album, he's listening to it, and he's listening to the song Frankie Teardrop. And he's sitting there lying on his back, listening to Frankie Teardrop, and who is there? It's his buddy's there, and he's like, "This is the best album I've ever heard in my life." Yeah. And I was like, "Damn, Bruce, you're a real one. I didn't know you like Suicide." And he's listening to Frankie Teardrop, and then, get this, people. And if you listen to this show, it means you probably, can I say this here? Nobody, it's fine. I can say, it's
your show.
Right? Yeah, okay. Because this is probably I assume this is going to come out on the Best Show this week. But, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a fan of the Best Show with Tom Sharpling, you probably know about the Frankie Teardrop Challenge, which is where the challenge is to go out at night and listen to Frankie Teardrop on your headphones and get through the whole song, because it's a terrifying song to listen to. And you say, how could a song be scary? Listen to Frankie Teardrop at night and you'll get it. It's very hard to complete the Frankie Teardrop Challenge. You'll want to back out because the song gets terrifying and spooky, and you think that you're surrounded by killers and demons. In this movie, Bruce Springsteen does the Frankie Teardrop Challenge. He literally gets in his car, his Camaro that he bought. He puts on Frankie Teardrop, and he's because it has a cassette player. They make a very big point, a huge deal about the fact that this car is a cassette player. So they must have VHS. He knew VHS. All right, yeah. So he's driving around at night in his Camaro, listening to Frankie Teardrop. He's going faster and faster. He's getting more intense and more intense. And then he fucking spins out. People. What is happening? This is the most Best Show, most New Jersey thing that's ever happened. Bruce Springsteen doing the Frankie Teardrop Challenge in the Bruce Springsteen biopic. I'm sure Tom will talk all about this week on the Best Show. Don't miss it. Listen to the Best Show. And when that happens, I just want you to know, and Joe is there to witness it. I saw Tom was in the studio today. I was like, I'm sure everyone's talking to you about it. I'm sure everyone's blowing up your phone. But Bruce Springsteen does the Frankie Teardrop Challenge in the movie. And what did Tom say?
I didn't hear about that.
I told him first.
Well, you saw the movie on Thursday.
We saw the movie on Thursday night. I know. I was like, why would everyone be telling him? No one's seen this movie yet.
And no one will.
No one rushed out to see it on Thursday night.
Because he does the Frankie Teardrop Challenge.
Dude, that's why I'm saying this movie I thought was bad but fun, and I would recommend you go see it in a theater and laugh along and have a blast. It's like watching a 30 Rock movie about Bruce Springsteen. It's kind of funny. It's hilarious. It's fun. It's fun. It's so bad it's fun.
It isn't. It's just I actually just think it was bad. And when he does the Frankie Teardrop Challenge, as funny as that was to me, why didn't he do it to one of the songs he was writing? Like why? Yeah. Like these influences were so haphazardly put in. He has
no, it's bad. It's
a
bad.
Big, thick Flannery O'Connor book on the table that inspires one of them. And then at the end, Jeremy Strong's like, as Flannery O'Connor said, "The more you do, the more you need. The more you need, the less
it's
you
a long quote too.
The less, no, dude, the less you know, and then the farther you go, and then that's the longer that you do."
I was like, that's not really Flannery O'Connor's vibe.
And then he does, and then he does. I was like, guys, these influence. This movie is, I don't know, Brett. I didn't
things that will things that. But this is why I love because it's like tropes done poorly. I love tropes done poorly. It's so much fun. This is. Things that movies, if you only watch movies, things that you would believe about the world are that like the third most popular profession is cigarette girl, is being a cigarette girl. Another thing that you would believe is that human beings who walk amongst us have a library of quotations in their head. Have a library. Do you remember my favorite one ever is in The Departed when they're like Boston cops and they like know that Nathaniel Hawthorne quote. Remember that? When Leonardo DiCaprio's like, he's with Martin Sheen and Mark Wahlberg. And he's like, well, you know, they say in America your fortunes are always rising or they're falling. And Martin Sheen goes, was that Hawthorne? And I was like, you fuckers don't know this quote. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. And similarly, there's a moment in Bruce Springsteen where Jeremy Strong just verbatim rips off like a
paragraph.
long.
It wasn't
Flannery
like,
O'Connor quote.
sometimes you up, sometimes you down.
No.
It was a paragraph.
And it is
a very
not,
powerful one.
But it wasn't even like Flannery O'Connor's like thing. It was like
No.
you know when someone quotes somebody and you're like,
Yeah, that
could have been anybody. There's nothing about that that's inherently Flannery
Right,
O'Connor. It's
right.
like a motivational quote. It
Right.
like goes on a poster somewhere.
Right.
This movie is very fun.
Well,
It's
how many
so
how many
dumb.
stars
It's
are you giving
very
it?
dumb. Okay.
Jeremy Allen White.
I
It's
don't
not.
know.
It's not about him. It's not about.
Why are you protecting Jeremy Allen White? He's fine.
No, I'm coming to terms with what I didn't like.
I think
about
he's
the movie.
over successful, which leaves him open to criticism.
No.
I think he's outrun his talent a little bit.
He's very strong. Like he's very like built up in the shoulders, and he wears a rolled up flannel shirt quite well.
My problem with him
But
is he
here's the
doesn't have
thing.
an ounce of sense of humor,
Here-
though.
that-
That is always going to limit your performative ability.
Here's what's the missing piece from the
he has
performance.
no.
is the fucking Riz.
Yes, exactly.
Where's
Yes.
there's no like Bruce Springsteen. Maybe he was a little sad. There's no way at this point in his life he wasn't also the Riz king.
Yeah. Good point.
Why wasn't he sexy?
Yeah.
Lots of sad built men are sexy.
Yeah.
Why wasn't this Bruce Springsteen sexy?
Yeah, and we've seen Jeremy Allen White working out at Runyon Canyon. We know
And
he's got that bod.
Odessa Young is like giving him something to work off of.
I want to shout out
What
her
is up
again.
with that?
That kind of got lost. I thought. All jokes aside about Jeremy Strong's wife, the best performance in the movie is Odessa Young as Faye.
Well,
I thought she was
second-
really strong. All right, fine,
Come on,
fine.
please give
We've
me
already
that.
shouted out
Jeremy Allen, Jeremy Strong,
Grace Gummer.
Grace
Okay,
Gummer.
Grace
yes,
Gummer as
all right.
Barbara Landau is the best performance in the movie. Close second though is Odessa Young as Faye Romano. And again, is not given. She gets to like
A stupid
surprise
thankless role.
Bruce that she knows about music, and everyone in the movie goes, "Oh my God, this waitress knows about Little Richard. What are the odds?"
It was cool.
So it's a poorly written
I was like,
character.
whoa.
It's a poorly written character, but she's a very dynamic performer. She's an Australian actor. I haven't seen her in anything. I thought Odessa Young was really good.
She was really good.
Yeah.
She
What else has she
definitely
been in?
definitely stole the show. She has worked a lot, but she was like a younger actress.
Yeah,
I think she's just getting
yeah.
her like now I'm the wife.
Australian stuff.
She's like
TV.
old now, 20 or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh,
She was in The Order. I saw that. Was she in The Order?
I bet
Okay,
she filmed that
okay.
like 6 years ago though. It looks like
Yeah.
a different person.
Yeah.
So folks, here we
All right,
are
all
at
right,
the end
all
of
right.
another big review.
All right.
And
We got to give it the stars.
Yeah.
You go first. You go first.
I'm giving this movie 2 stars. It's bad.
Yeah.
It's 2 stars. It's bad. Now it's not very bad. Like this is like such a disgrace. It's just like not. It's just I liked it less than all right. I didn't think it was all right. I wouldn't. If someone told me to like the movie, I'd go no. Why? It's bad.
So Joe's giving it 2 stars and saying it's bad. Don't see it. I'm also going to give it 2 stars, and I'm going to say run to the theaters
Okay.
to see this movie.
Okay.
Run to the theaters
Interesting.
now because it's going to be fun with an audience. It probably would not have been as fun without an audience.
My audience was also like ironically detached, but also not being pieces of shit about it.
They
and,
wa-
and
no,
they
yeah.
enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, I did not like that. Can become condescending very quickly.
No.
This is
My-
this is a pretentious, poorly made movie, and it's fine to make fun of it.
People were like,
Yeah.
it was a little silly.
Yeah,
People
yeah,
were
yeah.
laughing. Yeah,
And that's fun. That's like, look, it's
All good.
If they don't give a shit as long as people are paying for tickets and putting butts in seats,
Hey,
whatever
look,
it takes.
This is just my opinion.
I thought it was. It's really. There's a lot of fun to be had in this movie. I would say go see it in theaters, but it's not good. It's a bad movie.
It's bad. Yeah.
All right, there you go.
There you go.
All
See you on
right,
the other side. Bye.
bye. Well. There you have it. Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. A bad movie that you should either rush to see, in my opinion, or skip at all costs, in the Freak's opinion. But that's not all I saw this week. I also want to quickly talk to you with absolute haste and sincerity about Blue Moon and House of Dynamite. Let's start with Richard Linklater's Blue Moon. Blue Moon is essentially Richard Linklater doing an American version of Topsy Turvy. Mike Leigh's Topsy Turvy, his movie about Gilbert and Sullivan. What a movie, Topsy Turvy. One of my all-time favorites by one of my all-time favorite directors. But we're talking about Blue Moon by one of my other favorite directors, Richard Linklater. And this movie is about the songwriter Lorenz Hart, famous songwriter Lorenz Hart, part of Rodgers and Hart. And it stars Ethan Hawke as Hart. And don't you just love it when Linkletter and Hawke team up and cook up something fun? When those two purists get together and just dream up a little trifle, except it's not a trifle. It actually has like a lot of weight and a lot of substance to it. I love a Linkletter and Hawke movie, and we got a hell of a one here with Blue Moon. It's essentially a filmed play. It takes place almost entirely in the lobby and bar of Sardi's, the famous New York restaurant that catered to the icons of Broadway. And it takes place in real time after the opening night premiere of Oklahoma, the Broadway hit by Rodgers and Hammerstein, which is a very important detail, because Rodgers was Hart's longtime partner. Hart wrote the lyrics, Rodgers wrote the music. But, they had some growing sources of tension in their professional partnership. Rodgers was a perfectionist and sort of more of a teetotaler, didn't stay out late drinking all night, whereas Hart was your classic messy, brilliant drunk. And so Rodgers gets tired of this. He's like, I want to make hits. I want to print money. So he starts working with the much safer, if less brilliant, Oscar Hammerstein, and their first work together is the biggest musical of all time, Oklahoma. So the second that Rodgers leaves Hart, he has his biggest hit of all time. And Blue Moon is about Lorenz Hart reflecting/deflecting about all the reasons for this and all the context for this in the lobby of Sardi's. A man aware that he's been passed by and passed over and that his career is likely coming to an end. He also he's I guess bisexual is what the movie, I don't know much about Lorenz Hart, but the movie presents him as, I think primarily gay, but he has this romantic fixation in the movie on a woman played by Margaret Qualley, and it's platonic. He's essentially playing the role of her gay best friend. He always asks her to gossip with him about her lovers and so on and so forth, but he does confess to having romantic feelings for her as well. And so, Hart is a very interesting, very complicated person. He is brilliant. He's a wordsmith of the highest order, an incredible just wit. You feel like you're sitting at the Algonquin Round Table when you're watching this movie. Because this is a movie that is about two things, I think, primarily. It's about the beauty of language, and it's about the stupidity of Oklahoma. It's also about the futility of language, because for all of Hart's linguistic abilities and for all the beauty of his syntax and his diction and the way he puts words together and the way he shapes his thoughts into these just precise, sharp witticisms, it can't get him what he wants. It can't fulfill his desires. If anything, it's the expression of his dissatisfaction. And that is all done incredibly well in Blue Moon, those dynamics. The screenplay is absolutely incredible. Line by line, it's just gorgeous writing. It is so literate and snappy. It's like a Billy Wilder script. It's really, 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 really great writing. And it was written by Robert Kaplow, who previously wrote the Linklater movie Me and Orson Welles, and I guess saved all his good dialogue for this one. Ethan Hawke is excellent as Lorenz Hart. Got to be in line for an Academy Award nomination, I would think. He is going for it. And they've also got him in the Hobbit forced perspective thing where he looks really short, because I guess Hart was really short, and they make a big point of that. You've also got Andrew Scott in here. I said Margaret Qualley, Bobby Cannavale as the bartender at Sardi's. Great cast. I really, really like this movie. I really like Blue Moon. It's beautiful, it's funny, it's smart, it's sad. What more could you ask for? And it takes place in one location. I fucking love that. Now, it doesn't really have a third act. It kind of repeats itself a little bit too much and never finds that final big payoff that I think would have taken it into 4 stars, 4.5 stars. But overall, I thought it was really, really good. I gave it 3.5 stars, and I highly recommend that you see it. Now on to Kathryn Bigelow's House of Dynamite. I want to start by saying that I love Kathryn Bigelow. Near Dark, Loveless, Strange Days, Point Break. Come on. I love Kathryn Bigelow. Which is why I was so let down by House of Dynamite. This is Bigelow's first movie since 2017's Detroit. It went straight to Netflix. And it stars Idris Elba, Rebecca Ferguson, Jared Harris, Tracy Letts. The list goes on. Great cast. Big cast. This movie is sort of a mashup of Failsafe and Rashomon. It's doing the America on the brink of nuclear war thing, and it's also doing the multiple points of view on a single event thing. But unlike Rashomon, there is no point in doing it that way in House of Dynamite. There's no payoff, and instead it just frustratingly prevents the movie from reaching a payoff or a climax. We keep circling back right when we get to the point where something is important is about to happen, i.e. the freaking nuke dropping. House of Dynamite was written by Noah Oppenheim, who is probably better known as the guy who had to step down as the president of NBC News after Ronan Farrow accused him of attempting to kill the Harvey Weinstein story. So that's the guy who wrote House of Dynamite. Glad to see that he bounced back, got back on his feet. This is a movie that has some interesting setup in its earlier parts. I was certainly on board with this movie up to a point. It has a lot of hyper-specific dialogue so that you know the writers and the researchers really did their work. But unfortunately, it just doesn't add up to much. The movie doesn't really have anything interesting or insightful to say about America or geopolitics or really anything. And it doesn't have an ending. It also, perhaps most sadly, most disappointingly, has zero cinematic ambitions. Like most Netflix movies, it's shot like a television series. And this is, and I get it from if it's a TV director, but this is freaking Kathryn Bigelow. Why does it look so bad? Why does it look like this? It does feel intentional at a point, because all Netflix movies are like this. They're all TV movies. And I think this has to be intentional. This is Netflix's whole business model. Their goal is to destroy cinemas, to destroy the cinematic experience. They don't want you to go to movie theaters. That's their competition. They want you to stay home. And I think their bet is that if they just pummel you with enough mediocre movies with big stars in them that look like TV shows that you like, their bet is eventually the line between movie and TV will completely blur, and they'll completely wear us down to the point where we'll just say, fine, it's good enough, and it saves me a trip to the movies. Fine, I'll just watch House of Dynamite. Well, I say fuck that, fuck Netflix, and fuck this movie. It's bad. Also, Kathryn, please stop making movies about the American military. What happened to you? Why are all your movies these? Sure, there's a little bit of investigation of the complexities of the military bureaucracy, but from The Hurt Locker to Zero Dark 30 to House of Dynamite, these are essentially glorifications of the American military. Why are you doing this? And why exclusively this anymore? Make another Near Dark. Make another Loveless. I'm begging you, please do. 2 stars, this movie's bad. Honestly, 2 stars is generous. Well, that was another episode of Movies, baby. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. I know I did. And you can follow us on Instagram at moviesbaby with 5 Ys. You can also support us on Patreon. Please do. And thank you to everyone who does. You keep the show going. And speaking of Patreon, later today, this very day, we will have another episode of our bonus show Weekend at Bergman's for you. Our 1980s series marches on. We are pitting art house movies versus popcorn movies in a fight to the death, and the winners move on to our 1980s tournament later this year. And we've got a very special one for you today because it is a tribute to one of the Freak and I's favorite actors, Bob Hoskins. That's right. It's the Long Good Friday versus Who's Afraid of Roger Rabbit. Speaking of Robert Zemeckis sneaking in as a subplot of this episode. Long Good Friday versus Who Framed Roger Rabbit later today, only on Patreon. And then next week, it's Begonia, baby. That's right. Yorgos Lanthimos is back. Emma Stone is back. And now they got Jesse Plemons has joined their crazy little crew. He's back in this one after he was in Kinds of Kindness. They've got another weird one for us, people. Begonia, I can't wait. Which Yorgos are we going to get? The Photor or the Otor? The Photor of Poor Things or the Otor of The Favorite? Which Yorgos is it going to be? In Begonia. You'll have to tune in to find out what we think, plus lots more next week. We'll see you then. And remember, life is just go fast boats and mojitos, and then you die. Bye.